My family treated me like I was invisible until I exposed the truth online. What followed made them regret ever overlooking me. I'm Lila, a 24-year-old woman and the youngest of 5 in my family. Growing up, I felt like a ghost in my own house, never truly part of it. My parents made it clear who they favored, and it wasn't me. My older brothers, Kian and Arjun, soaked up all their affection and attention. Kian, the eldest, was their shining star. Brilliant and charming, he was the one they praised at every family gathering. Kian secured an amazing internship, they'd boast. You know the drill. Arjun, on the other hand, was their golden child in a different way. Athletic and popular, everyone adored him. His shelves were lined with medals, and my parents loved displaying them to guests. And me? I was just Lila, the quiet one fading into the background. The "oh, you're here too" kid. They weren't outright mean, just indifferent, barely noticing me. I first realized how unequal things were when I was about 9. One moment stands out vividly. School closed early because of a storm, and all the other kids were picked up by their parents. I waited, gripping my backpack, watching the classroom empty out. I was the last one there. The custodian finally asked if my parents were coming. They're probably delayed, I muttered. After another hour, with night creeping in, I gave up and walked home, soaked without an umbrella. When I got there, my mom was lounging on the sofa, skimming a magazine. "Oh, you're home. Food's in the fridge," she said, not even glancing up. "No worry, no sorry, nothing. This wasn't a one-off. It happened all the time. My parents forgot to pick me up so often that my teacher started offering me rides." "Should I call them?" she'd ask. I always shook my head. Why bother? Birthdays were just as bad. My mom threw parties, but never for me. She'd invite her friends and their kids, not mine. Once I overheard her say, "Lila doesn't really have friends anyway." I froze in the hallway, then hid in my room until the party was over. Kian and Arjun weren't any better. Kian teased me constantly. If I earned a high grade, he'd scoff, "What, expecting a medal?" Arjun barely noticed me unless it was to sigh or tell me to stop being a nuisance. The worst part? Outsiders thought we were the ideal family. Relatives would say, "You're so fortunate to have such a loving, successful family." Fortunate? Really? By middle school, I decided that if I wanted my parents' attention, I had to achieve something remarkable. So I joined every club, studied harder, and signed up for every activity I could. Maybe if I stood out, they'd finally notice me. It sort of worked. They'd say, "Nice work," but it was always fleeting, like ticking off a task. Meanwhile, Kian was preparing for university, and Arjun was racking up more awards. Next to them, I was barely a blip. One year, I made the honor roll and pinned my certificate to the fridge, hoping for some praise. The next day it was gone, replaced by Arjun's game schedule. When I asked my parents about it, my dad just shrugged. "We're swamped, Lila, you know that." Swamped with what? "You went to Kian's debate last week," I snapped. "Kian's events matter. We can't do everything." I stopped trying after that. In high school, I focused on carving out my own path. I became valedictorian and sent my parents invites to my graduation, reminding them over and over. On the day of my speech, I scanned the audience. Their seats were empty. They'd chosen Arjun's routine soccer match instead. Sitting in my car afterward, clutching my diploma, I felt hollow. No matter what I did, they'd never care. That was when I decided to leave. College was my way out. I earned a full scholarship because I knew they wouldn't help with tuition. Kian got a new car for his graduation. Arjun's dorm was fully funded. I got a good job text. College was tough at first. Classes, jobs, navigating life alone. But it was liberating. No one ignored me here. I started building a life without them. Occasionally, my mom would text, all passive-aggressive. "Haven't heard from you? Too busy for us?" Once, she left a voicemail claiming she missed me, but her tone betrayed her words. When she asked if I'd visit for the holidays, I said I couldn't afford it. Her reply? "If you budgeted better, you wouldn't have that issue." I laughed bitterly. I was juggling 2 jobs and loans. Meanwhile, my brother's social media showed a world where I didn't exist. Kian flaunted his high-flying internship. Arjun shared game clips with my parents cheering in the front row. No trace of me. Things boiled over during a holiday visit. The second I walked in, I was an outsider. Dinner revolved around Kian's career and Arjun's matches. When Kian smirked, "Wait, what are you even studying again?" I lost it. Later, I overheard my dad tell a neighbor, "We've got 2 kids, Kian and Arjun. They keep us busy. 2 kids, not 3. I confronted him. "Guess I'm not part of the family anymore." He brushed me off. "You're always off doing your own thing. What do you expect?" That night, I left and never returned. I cut them off entirely, unfollowed them, changed my last name, updated my emergency contacts, but it wasn't enough. I needed the truth out there. So I shared my story on Reddit. Every detail, every wound. It exploded. Strangers validated my pain, sharing their own experiences. My parents freaked out. My mom left a furious voicemail. "How dare you drag our family through the mud?" Kian emailed, calling me childish. Arjun texted, "You're making things harder for everyone." Their friends started questioning them. My mom posted a tearful Facebook rant playing the victim. Relatives messaged me saying I was too harsh, but I held firm. Then came a cease and desist letter accusing me of slander. I consulted a lawyer who confirmed I was in the clear. I updated my Reddit post with evidence, screenshots, the legal threat, the empty graduation seats. The support was overwhelming. At work, a colleague mentioned seeing the post. I braced for criticism, but she said, "That took courage. I'm sorry you went through that." My parents' perfect image cracked. Their friends pulled away. Meanwhile, I hosted a holiday dinner with my true family. My friends. They tried to silence me, but I reclaimed my voice. It's not perfect, but for the first time I'm in charge, and that's a triumph. After my Reddit post went viral, I thought the storm had passed. I was mistaken. My family didn't back off. They launched a campaign to discredit me, but this time I was prepared. The backlash. My parents' lawyer letter was a bluff, but they didn't stop there. My mom, ever the victim, posted on Facebook again, carefully crafting her narrative. It breaks my heart when a child distorts the past for attention. We gave Lila everything: love, opportunities, a home. Yet she chooses to vilify us. Pray for families torn apart by lies. The comments were split. Some offered blind support, others weren't convinced. One aunt wrote, "You've always been such a devoted mother," but others saw through it. An old high school friend commented, "Funny how Lila's lies include photos of your empty seats at her graduation." My brothers Kian and Arjun doubled down too. Kian emailed, "You're ruining mom and dad's reputation. Delete the post or you'll regret it." Arjun, always passive, texted, "Why can't you just drop this? You're embarrassing us." I didn't reply, but I saved every message. The turning point. Then something unexpected happened. A distant cousin, Nia, messaged me privately. "I always wondered why you were so quiet at family events. Now I understand. Your post showed me how much they overlooked you. I'm sorry I didn't see it." Her words hit me hard. For years, I thought everyone was complicit in my family's neglect, but some just hadn't noticed. Until now. Meanwhile, my parents' social circle started to fracture. Their community group, which had initially supported them, began asking tough questions. One member pulled my mom aside and said, "If Lila felt this neglected, maybe there's truth to it." The final blow. Desperate to regain control, my parents made a fatal error. They gave an interview to a local news blog, portraying me as an ungrateful, troubled daughter. Huge mistake. The article backfired. Readers flooded the comments calling out their hypocrisy. Someone even linked my Reddit post. Suddenly, the whole town was buzzing. Then, the ultimate irony. Kian's prestigious internship caught wind of the drama. His employer, a firm with a strict ethics code, quietly let him go. Arjun's sponsors started pulling away too. Karma? Definitely. My life now. I won't lie, the fallout was draining, but it was also freeing. I cut ties completely, changed my number, blocked every toxic relative, and moved to a new city. I found a real family. My friends, my colleagues, even strangers from Reddit became my support system. I'm healing. Therapy helped me see that none of this was my fault. I wasn't the problem. They were. Last month, I got a letter from my dad. No apology, just a cold, "We're willing to move forward if you admit you exaggerated." I burned it. The lesson, sharing my truth, wasn't about vengeance. It was about reclaiming the story they'd taken from me. In the end, the people who mattered believed me. My parents' perfect family image is shattered, and that's a victory I'll hold close forever. If you connected with this story and felt its emotions, please give it a like, share it with others, and follow the channel for more real-life stories and heartfelt experiences. Your support means everything, and it helps us share more stories like this. Thank you for reading, and I'll see you in the next one.